Hey gang, welcome to Bugbears and Brews. My name is Brian, and today we're recapping the 24th session of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. And while I'm doing that, I am going to drink an Alaskan Brewing Icy Bay IPA. In my beer's not cold, and I want to drink a beer cup because it's ice lined and it does the trick getting a beer cold quick. So this one here was a little bit weird because I didn't have my laptop. Well, I had my laptop, but it wasn't fully set up for the game because it was just recently re-imaged. So I had to run out of books, which is not a big deal. But because I started relying on the laptop so much, I stopped doing my prep sheets, and so I didn't have my prep sheets ready, and it was a little bit of a slow start there. But started off with you guys. We were being chased by the grung into the Papazotl temple, and as the grung were getting close, all of a sudden they started getting snatched one after another from the swamp by alligators. And I think somebody made a comment about, hey, you did that because you don't have your materials ready. Good job, whatever. And I was actually planning on that anyway. Even with Pavic, or not Pavic, Leora in there. Sadly, Jose didn't make it this week, so he was out. And so, you know what, this is just a nice way to kind of just cut all ties and move on. So, yep, all these alligators or crocodiles started snatching up all these grung. And then once the grung were taken care of and those guys started retreating, the crocodiles started eyeing you guys. And you just, let's just not mess with it. Opened up the door to the temple, closed the door, put your movable rod in place, and just let it rest. And then you guys took a long rest and hit level 8. It's not bad. I like most Alaskan brewing stuff, but I think this is the first time I had their IPA. I normally go for their amber. So from there, you guys then went next morning, took a look. There's grung body parts, viscera all over the place. Poor who stepped on it? Orc. Poor Orc stepped on a sliver of femur, wound up getting a little bit of nasty poison in him, but nothing that was too dangerous. And then you guys said, you know what, let's head through the swamp, get to this area where we're supposed to meet Fenthaz's agent. So you guys got there, lit off the signal fire, did this big billowy smoke for about 30 seconds, and then she got there probably a couple minutes afterward. During that time frame, people went and hid. Actually, people went and hid beforehand, and you guys made poor Sai light the fire. And so she got there. It's like, hey, you know, we got the last cube. That's great. She's going to show you the intro, or show you to where they know that the tomb is, the Tomb of the Nine Gods is, and then she's going to leave you on your way. So she took you guys up there. The people that were visible, because some people stayed hiding, took you guys up, had, you know, said, here's this obelisk. There's a couple entrances over here. We don't really explore this area because, I don't know, she didn't give much reason, but she just said, you know, part of your first point of proving your mettle is getting in. And you guys are like, well, where's the entrance? And she kind of pointed to the caves, like, here's some entrances. Have at it. I don't know for sure. During that time, the group that was sneaking because if you remember here, 3 of the people were technically part of Fenthaz's plan, and the other 4 people escaped. So the people that escaped hid and followed up. And Sai noticed something oddly familiar about the movements of the Yanti, but couldn't quite put his finger on it. But that's for another day. So looking at the entrance here, you have this nice, beautiful, tall, black obelisk. There is a large tunnel with a darker than normal, darker than natural entrance, and then there is a smaller tunnel off to another side with a once again a darker than normal entrance. So reading over, looking at the obelisk. So you guys are at a cliff wall here. There's the obelisk. There's these 2 entrances, and then there's 3 gargoyles posted up top. Each of them are looking down at this obelisk there. And then there's some vegetation along the walls, some vegetation growing on the obelisk there. And Orc looking around, kind of figures out what's going on, taking a look around. I'll get to that because I'm jumping a little early. You guys remove some of the vegetation from the obelisk because you could tell that there was some writing on it, and pulled it back. It gave you some clues about how to get into the temple, a little bit of Asarak, however the hell you call it. I think you guys just went with calling him Ace, the guy that built this area, or built the tomb. Gave a little bit of his bragging rights and then a little bit of clues on how to get in. So, but as that's going on, Orc grabs a rock and chucks it up at one of the gargoyles, and thus leads to combat. Who would have guessed chucking a rock at a gargoyle isn't exactly a friendly action as much as they are Ignean rock creatures. They don't like getting hit in the face with rocks. So gargoyle is attacked. As that's going down, so as they're getting ready to swoop down, Navarre lights up or tosses out this gigantic windstorm spell. I forget the name of it, but it's got 20-foot radius with high winds that cause difficult terrain, and lightning can crack out from it. Really cool spell. I think that's the first time that we've ever actually used it in any session, so it might be a newer spell from one of the newer books. Here's where me not knowing everything, so that's going on. Gargoyles are coming down, attacking everybody, and as this is going on, Obrecht, he's got his warhammer. He goes and takes a swing at one of these gargoyles, hits it, but then on his follow through, connects into the whirlwind. This was a nat 1 with a roll of 99 on the percentile, so that's really bad in my book. And so the whirlwind grabs the warhammer, rips it off of his hands, or not warhammer, two-handed hammer, rips it out of his hands and slams it around, and it did a random D8. There was 8 people on the board. Random D8 determined who it hit, and it was going to be a critical hit without the strength modifier, and it wound up cracking Navarre right in the jaw. So Navarre was on like one side of the map behind the obelisk. Obrecht was on the other, and so like this thing kind of did like a horseshoe and wound up hitting Navarre. Good times. Led for a kind of funny moment. Shortly after, I think is like the next turn, or the next, really quick afterward, Oric went, and he wound up doing another nat 1 right next to the tornado, wind sphere, whatever you want to call it. And it was like a high 80s, low 90s roll. And so we did the same thing, but except for being a crit, it'd be a standard hit. So in this case, he wound up rolling against himself. So instead of it going out of his hands, it just flew right back into his face and hit him. As far as interesting moments in combat, those were the main points. The 2 misses, those were both really funny. We had a lot of fun with those. But as the gargoyles were dying, one of them disengaged from you guys and climbed on top, flew up on top of the obelisk and just started smashing his face right in the obelisk. And you can see the obelisk is cracking, and then there was, a little bit of dark vapor, misty type stuff pouring out of this thing, and everybody's just kind of like looking, like getting ready for something that's going to happen. And Orc says, you know what? I'm going to throw my sword at it. And I will say this was with a little bit of persuasion from me. I could tell that's kind of where he was leaning, and he's judging whether or not he should do it or not. So I figured, you know what? Throwing swords is always fun. So he threw his magical cutlass at it, pierced and killed the gargoyle, and went right into the crack that was appearing in this obelisk. And this is where things go bad. So Orc climbs on up, grabs the this cutlass out, and didn't do a very good check. So he wound up making the crack even worse. Granted, it was cracking all along, so meta-wise, if he would have left the sword in there, crack would have been sealed, not a big deal. And then if he would have pulled it out with a good check, it would have the crack wouldn't have expanded anymore. In this case, he did a okay check, but wound up cracking the obelisk the rest of the way. Smoke starts billowing. I gave everybody, hey, one turn, you do what you want. We'll see what we're doing here. And so Sai goes down the small tunnel, sees that is a bunch of, the small tunnel has a whole bunch of statues of the 9 gods here opposing each other. So there's like groups of 2 that are facing against each other, or opposing faces, whatever you want to call it. I can't speak right now because I'm going a mile a minute. So yeah, Sai goes down the short tunnel. Everybody else goes into the big tunnel, and this smoke and is billowing out, and it starts to coalesce into this very large demonic form. I forget the name of it. It's Nelfeshni or something along those lines. It's the really big gorilla demon with the little itty bitty wings coming off its back. And this thing just lays into Auric. And so people trying to hit the Nefeshni. Auric's laying into it. Everybody's casting some spells. Sai's doing some really good hit and run tactics. Things are going okay, but this demon is just really laying into Auric and really getting him down really hard there. And in the end, while there wasn't very many standout moments of the combat, poor Auric has officially died. That said, as soon as Auric was down, this thing vanished. And I pointed out that, hey, it's a little weird that it was only going after Auric. Like, even when people did attack of opportunity things, where they're going out of the way, I tried to really play off, like, he kind of leans over, not really being immediate, hey, you get an attack of opportunity, but, like, he was really focused on Auric, and it came down to him breaking the obelisk. So, inadvertently, but he was the one that broke it in the end. So we had a sad sacrificial rummaging of the loot. That was, always sad. But from there, Tim's already made his next character. He's already all set there. Non-evil Tim, Mothy, whatever you want to call him. And so looking into this, looking into the rooms here, what we had in the big room, you have this big stone door with eight sockets that are in like a square pattern with the center missing. And each of them look like they could fit one of the puzzle cubes. And then in the riddle said, hey, the enemies oppose each other. So you guys kind of had an idea of, through the text of the legend and what you guys had in the room to the hallway, you could see the opposing. I'm sorry, my daughter's in the. She's now she's in the bathroom. In this long room, you can see the opposing gods. You guys kind of figured placement for these things. But as you're going down this hallway with these puzzle cubes, these braziers start lighting up, and first thing that comes to mind is there's only 8 statues, but there's 9 gods. So where's the 9th? And turns out there's a hidden room at the very end that had the statue of the 9th god, and it was the snail god, and it had a nice little pennant around one of its tentacle thingies. And so guys are kind of investigating that. There's nowhere to put the cube for the pennant, or for the snail god, so you're trying to figure out what's going on here. This pendant is kind of acting a little funny, acting like it's swaying in the breeze. Hi, gorgeous. You awake now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Go play. Eddie will be done here in just a minute. And so you're like, all right, that has to be something here. You guys talk Obrecht into putting in the cubes. So he starts putting in all these cubes. All of a sudden, as he gets the last one in, a door that we didn't see starts sliding down to kind of trap him into this area. And I gave everybody a chance, like, do you want to run in? Do you want to stay out? What are you going to do? So half the remaining party stayed out. Half the remaining party ran in. And so as it closed, you guys are looking around. It lights up. It kind of illuminates the area. It's looking a little nice. And then the engravings open up and start shooting out all this nasty acid and poison at you guys. And stickers.
My find them.
You did find them. All right. Go show Mama. And so we roll some damage that lasts for a minute. While it hurts, nobody is dead or anything like that. But not the right answer. So you guys, you were looking as it was the door was closed, and you guys are taking the poison damage. Your thought is there has to be some place to put this cube, and so you're looking around for it. You can't find it. You step out. You're resting. You guys notice that the medallion that you picked up from, or the pendant, whatever you want to call it, that you picked up from the snail god's statue, is kind of pulling one direction against the wind. And you go a little bit further. You follow the pendant where it's going, and it reveals another entrance. And this one has all 9 spots. That's where we left off. I liked this. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I think everybody else had a lot of fun with it. It's nice to see you guys fell for like the very first thing. Like it was a great callback to what's it called? The freaking one this is all based on. Not Minds of Madness. Is it Minds of Madness? Why can I not think of it right now? Anyway, the based on the. It's gonna kill me. I'm gonna remember as soon as I stop recording. But to see the fall right for that fake entrance type deal there. I tried to give enough clues, that kind of stuff there. I think everybody did a good job. I really felt bad for killing Auric, especially on a combat that wouldn't have happened. But then again, the combat happened because he instigated the gargoyles, which then turned into the obelisk cracking and so on. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my beer, play with my daughter a bit. Yeah. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.